Hello, Mariners. This second image video is going to focus a little bit on the use of symmetry. You can see this lotus flower here. Take a look. It's going to be a symmetric design. It's got a vertical axis and the same thing on both sides. Any pictures or design work in general, you can use patterns or symmetry to your example, and it's called mirroring in the program. You want to do that. You can see up here you have this tool called mirror. That's what we're going to use to draw this quickly, right? So here's a quick go at another design style using arcs that I'm going to use to draw this thing out, and then also looking at just the idea of using symmetry to your advantage. And I'll just pull this image out, look at it from the top view, just look at its center axis here. I'm going to finish this sketch again on the top plane. Make sure you click this accurately and see sketch 2 comes up. And now I'm drawing over the top of my sketch 1 image here. All right. The first thing I'll do is draw a line of symmetry. So I'm going to start. You want to zoom in, get pretty accurate with this. You can click. In some cases, while you're zoomed in, you do have to press that mouse wheel down and slide. You could do this from zoomed far away, but you want to be zoomed in close. So that's another tip here is as you zoom in, pressing down on the mouse wheel, you can keep something like a line turned on and keep sliding things around and it'll still stay lit up. Anyway, boom, I just click and produce a line of symmetry. You're going to, in this case, to end a line tool, have to hit the escape key on the keyboard, or you can right click like I am here, and hitting escape line. I'm forced to do that because of the recording software I'm using right now, purely that reason alone. Okay, so I mentioned a minute ago I'm going to use arcs for something like this. If I click, and pull, in this case specifically a conic arc, I can check to see if it works, and it's going to be a fantastic solution for me. When I use this particular type of arc, I'll get into that in a second here. It's going to give me a measurement. That's the size of that bend. It's where I want it. So then I just hit enter on the keyboard to finish up and leave it the way it is. But there's multiple subtools in these menus, and when you're tracing stuff, you have to decide what works best. This particular arc comes in handy because it doesn't have to be a perfect circular arc. It can be a flexy kind of arc. So, and you can use it for things that are almost straight like this. So watch this. I'm going to leave that tool on. I'm going to click an endpoint here, an endpoint here, and pull, and again, enter because that measurement is what I want it to be. Click here and there. Click where I want to leave it, enter. Just continue this really quickly. You want to make sure that you get comfortable with finding these indicators super handy, meaning as you connect the endpoints of things, you're going to get, or you'll see a box to show you that you are hovering over something. And when you're connecting the endpoints of lines, you want to make sure that you're paying close attention to that, because if you miss that, that's where things go bad when you try and make these things 3D. It won't work if there's a disconnect. So like that, it actually even just gave me a really bizarre signal that I didn't do it the right way. I hit Control Z, or if I use my undo here, you can get rid of that. Looks like it did get rid of one of my lines that I didn't want to. This here, Control Y, if you don't know, is redo. If you like using the shortcut keys on the keyboard. Anyway, let me finish this up here. Conic arc, so I can show you the mirroring. That's the whole point of this, in addition to this arc thing being super handy. And try not to be too picky about what you're tracing, because you really are just tracing something. You have no reason to be super concerned with absolute precision, because you won't see the picture that you're tracing when this is done. So here we go. All right, done with that. It took a minute, but worth it. Now I'll actually get rid of the sketch 1 here so you can see this. It's much easier to see that if I now click this mirror line can select the mirror line. It tells you what to do. Sometimes you'll see these prompts come up here in the center, top center. Make sure you pay attention when you see that because it's telling you what to do. It says select the mirror line. That's the first thing I did. Now it's saying select entities to be mirrored. I can do this one at a time. You'll see that'll happen like this. Or I can drag and highlight a cluster of things. I think I already got that bottom one. Let's see if I didn't. It missed a lot. That's funny. Anyway, you can do this by individually clicking again, or you can click anywhere like this. If I missed it in this case, it's pretty interesting how this mirroring tool works. And you can see it connected these properly because everything that's enclosed now turned gray on the inside, which means I can immediately know when I 3D that when I hit this extrude button, it's going to work. Change that to 10 in this case. And boom, done. If you want a quick fun recolor tip, since there's a long list of these things, and if I want to make them all the same color, let's say, if I hold shift in between the first and the last click, so it's if I click one, hold shift on a keyboard, and click the last part of any list, you can select a range of things like this, and then right click and edit the appearance of all of these at once. Last video, I just did this really quickly. I'll do this again. Say I have something like this that's all in pieces and I wanted to connect it very quick and easy. I can click on the top plane, sketch on the top plane, pull a rectangle or whatever shape I would want to pull out around this object. I can turn this tool off. I can go back with a white arrow. I can modify that if need be. I can then just hit extrude, flip it away from me since it's going to come straight up, make it a smaller dimension, like 3 millimeters. And again, you can turn things like the visibility off when you're done with a design because that makes it a lot nicer. And then I usually, at the end of something like this, like to put a little beveled edge on the outside for fun. I made this 3 millimeter stick, so I need to make the measurement of my distance is smaller than, you can see it's going to go 2.5 millimeters down and in. This was 3 millimeter stick. This measurement is good. If I want any bigger, like 4, for example, it's going to start to just cut away material, which you can do if you want to, but I'm just going to leave it at 2.5 here. Finish that up. It's just a fun design. Again, the point of this one is first looking at creating a line of symmetry and making your life simpler by doing half the work and copying it, or in lots of cases there's ways to use patterns in this program, but I want you to be thinking about now patterns, symmetry, and basic extrusions and turning sketch visibilities on and off. Now you're seeing some stuff with recoloring here. There's a lot of good stuff. And that was much, much quicker for you guys to follow along with. So look for symmetry in your design work. That makes things simple. Take care, guys. Thanks for watching.